Magica!
Well, I would never think about anything that I write in terms of adapting it to film.
Of course not.
Because no matter what you do, Hollywood's going to take it and change it to something you don't even recognize. So I just think about what I want to accomplish, what I want the reader to get from it. Because that's the first step, is like, if I'm not connecting with the reader, then none of that is going to happen, none of it's going to matter. The Magic is an unusual situation for me. I've never worked on anybody else's property. Anything I've ever done has been my creation. This is already a movie, so we're actually going in the opposite direction. We're taking the movie and we're making it a comic book. It's kind of unusual for me because I have to try to instill my sensibilities into the storytelling, but it's somebody else's characters and somebody else's initial motivations for those characters. So I'm kind of walking a tightrope, being myself and putting into it what I need to have to feel creatively satisfied, but I'm also having to satisfy the actual studio that owns the property.
But if you do anything that is not your own creation, and most people who work in this business, they want to be doing things that aren't their own creation. You know, I mean, most guys dream of writing Spider-Man or Batman. You know, the existing Magic, it just kind of, it provides sort of a skeleton. It's a superstructure, it's a foundation, whatever. It's something you build on and build around. All the best stuff that I've ever read and watched has basically been done by people who were pleasing themselves. You go back to...
Can we hit it?
Not pleasuring themselves. You go back to freaking, you know...
Well, at least we found our first edit.
No!
That's the part I was leaving in.
You go to Termite Terrace. You go to the classic Warner Brothers cartoons, the work of Chuck Jones and Friz Freleng and Bob Clampett. Those guys were trying to entertain themselves, and they found things that connected with viewers of all ages. Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster in 1933 to 1938, when they were creating and developing Superman, were trying to please themselves. And ideally, you find something that connects with other people too. I mean, neither one of us thinks of this as, at least I shouldn't say either one of us. I don't want to be presumptuous and speak for Kevin. Although this was sort of a movie aimed at children, I don't think this is a children's book. There's a difference between all ages and children. You say children, I'm thinking something like Teletubbies. You say all ages, I'm thinking something like Warner Brothers, like Snow White, like Pinocchio. I mean, obviously there's not going to be hardcore graphic sex and violence in Magica, at least
there goes issue 3.
At least not in the public edition. But it doesn't mean that we're dumbing down, we're writing for kids.
No,
kids are a lot smarter and a lot more sophisticated than grown-ups give them credit for being a lot.
I don't think of it as, oh, what's a 10-year-old going to want to see here? But the fact that the lead characters are children and it has a clean, animated style, it just automatically would have an appeal for a younger audience. That's not to say that we're not going to embrace an all-ages audience, but on the surface, and I think you have to be a little more sensitive to that natural attraction for a younger audience, and in terms of some of the dialogue, some of the language choices, and some of the action scenes. You don't want it to be overly, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there aren't going to be, there's no severed arms. You're not even going to, you know, not that any of the Red Giant line actually is going to feature heavy, hardcore language, but I mean, I'm not even going to be dropping a casual hell or damn into dialogue in a book like Magica, whereas in a book like Shadow Children,
it's
that is
profanity.
appropriate.
It's just, you know, 4-letter words all over the place. Yeah.